Hello, my name is METİN ARIDAŞIR. This is 24th part of explanation of my theory. Subject: ARIDAŞIR's law of anisotropic source observer motion, velocity dependent light waves velocity and wavelength for successive waves of free electron motion form which has constant frequency. I have drawn this graph wholly according to my theory and my formulas. In former my videos, I have told about this graph. This. When we connected hill points, this is the continuous shape, continuous spectrum shape. I have drew this graph wholly according to my theory and my formulas. What does this graph represent? Firstly, it represents that for each degree point from 90 degree, from 0 degree, here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, for each degree there are 90 degrees. Each point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 45. Okay, but this direction 0 degree. This direction 90 degree. From 90 degree to 0 degree. Okay? For each one I plotted wavelengths which I counted according to my theory and my formulas. Wavelength side and energy side. Okay, now wait a moment. Here. Energy in EV wavelength, or my famous lambda n minus delta lambda cosine alpha. Okay, and projection, here 90 degree, 89 degree, 88 degree. Okay, here wavelength to 0. 0 direction of electron motion forms relocation. Okay, direction. Here 90 degree, energy in EV. Okay, like this here, not just like this, because instant drop. instant dropping here, instant leaping, okay, like so important. This is ARIDAŞIR's law, mind law. About this subject, this is so important. ARIDAŞIR's law of anisotropic source observer motion, velocity dependent light waves velocity and wavelength for successive waves of free electron motion form which has constant frequency. Anisotropic and source or observer velocity dependent light waves velocity and wavelength. Yes, I have drew this graph wholly according to my theory and my formulas. What does this graph represent? Firstly, it represents that for each degree, no problem, here, for each degree, about 3 days in all my empty time, I counted, I computed according to my theory and my formula, okay, and I have drew it. This graph is main graph and so important. ARIDAŞIR's law of anisotropic source observer motion, velocity dependent light waves velocity and wavelength for successive waves of free electron motion form which has constant frequency. About that. And about all of continuous spectrums in the universe, all of, and about free electron motion forms, intrinsic motion belongs to meta sensation perception matter. I have drew this graph wholly according to my theory and my formulas. What does this graph represent? Firstly, it represents that for each degree, from 90 degree to 0 degree, wavelength versus energy in EV. For each degree, each wavelength belongs to same electron motion forms Yes, for each degree, each wavelength belongs to same electron motion forms successive sphere waves that determined by my lambda n minus delta lambda cosine alpha. For each degree, each wavelength belongs to same electron motion forms successive sphere waves that determined by my lambda n minus delta lambda cosine alpha formula. This electron motion form is relocating at a certain velocity. Okay. Here and 90 degree, 0 degree. You know, my former videos, okay? At this point, different wavelength, okay? Lambda alpha x, lambda alpha x1, 2, lambda alpha x3, okay? Lambda 90 degree, and here C not change. Here, because of in 90 degree, cosine alpha is 0, okay? Here, lambda alpha, lambda alpha, lambda alpha. Changing in all point, all think of as relocating sphere, spherical waves, successive waves, okay? For each degree, each wavelength belongs to same electron motion forms, successive sphere waves that determined by my lambda n minus delta lambda cosine alpha formula. Lambda alpha equal to, this is my formula. This electron motion form is relocating at a certain velocity by the effect of a certain quantity, electric potential, or temperature. It's not changing, not problem. But for this sample, for this graph which I have drew, applied electric potential. Okay. I computed according to 20 kV. Under the 20 kV effect, an electron motion form at certain velocity, I counted, computed, etc. This electron motion form is relocating at a certain velocity by the effect of certain quantity electric potential. And for each degree, again, for each degree, each successive waves point at each wavelength, think of in three-dimensional and each point, okay? And for each degree, each successive waves point at each wavelength has different wave velocity. Here, d, say alpha x3, same point, d is wave velocity, alpha 2, d, that's at this point of sphere, alpha 1, okay? Lambda at this point different. At this point, wave velocity different. Wave velocity d, according to my theory, equal to the alpha is equal to c minus electron velocity, source velocity, it's so important, or observer velocity, okay, through the at rest source. I don't want to confuse your mind, okay, now. Cosine alpha, okay? And so important okay. Remember, frequency is constant according to my theory and my formulas, lambda n minus delta lambda cosine alpha divided by C minus cosine alpha, okay? And we can find unknowns from this relation which I put forth, okay? Again. And for each degree, each successive wave point at each wavelength has different wave velocity that determined by my d equal to c minus electron motion form velocity cosine alpha formula. That means on each wave sphere surface, each one of infinite number points will have different wavelength with other successive waves. Okay. And this graph this is my graph, and this is its copy. This is my original graph, okay? This graph represents the whole continuous spectrums of universe at all scales from infinitesimal to infinite. From X-ray continuous spectrum to blackbody radiation at all scales, from a heated metal to farthest galaxy or the light from before billions years. In all cases, it is not important wherever they come from, whenever they come, whatever their occurring resonance, temperature, electric potential, all of these spectrums source are relocating free electron motion forms, which are intrinsic cyclical motion forms of matter sensation perception matter. This graph represents real spectrum of all continuous spectrums, blackbody radiation spectrum or real X-rays radiation spectrums. Now I will cut, but something associating. Then this graph, which I put forth according to my theory and my formulas, this graph must be related with CMBR MIT. CMBR MIT. Yes. Because of that lack of thermodynamic laws and another laws of accepted physics theories about blackbody radiation, etc., there are more contradictions, there are more myths. Expanding universe, photons from far from 13 billion, from before 13 billion years. Just now, I forget CMBR. Okay, what was it? CMBR. I tried to remember now. Radiation. CMBR. MBR. What reminds me? CMBR. Yes. These were data. Yes. Cosmic, microwave, black body, radiation. I'm so sorry. Look at that. And this is the data. Like mirror display. Wait. Okay. Have a good day. See you later.